There has been a crime. I paid to see one movie but discovered another. The old switcheroo. Mr. Rian Johnson continues to subvert expectations indeed. Who gets the most screen time? Why, this little lady right here, back of the poster. By far, the plot thickens. This must be how this low-budget movie could afford all these actors who actually have very little screen time. She also appears very little in the trailer. A trailer for whoever cut it should be paid most handsomely. Yes, that voice is fun to do. I see you, Daniel Craig. I wish he'd done it more. Everyone has so little screen time, including Daniel Craig, who plays the detective. Anyway, how did I like the movie we actually got? Well, it's hard for me to tell, because I really couldn't get over my disappointment in not getting the all-star ensemble murder mystery I had been promised from the trailers. I didn't love how the trailers started out, but I thought the last couple of trailers were amazing. And they've been playing it so often. I've seen it in front of so many movies, and every time it played, I'd be like, I can't wait to see this movie. So they whipped me up into a frenzy, and then, in typical Rian Johnson, the playbook, they switched it on me. It wasn't what I wanted. Speaking of being blindsided, this film's strong political commentary was also a surprise. And it must be why Lionsgate is trying to float it in as an awards contender. It's been on the festival circuit. I've been invited to awards screenings. And I've been like, Knives Out, really? Now that I've seen it, I get it. And I also suspect that's why it's getting such overwhelmingly strong reviews. Now, I don't mind political films at all. In fact, I quite enjoy them. But again, I did not appreciate the bait and switch. And also, this movie is very aggressive and I'd say somewhat mean-spirited in its commentary. I mean, I kind of liked some of what it was saying. I'm still not totally sure, by the way, what it is saying. But I thought, it's like, you don't have to insult me while you're making your point, Ryan, right? I mean, after what happened with how he dealt with the Star Wars fans who were unhappy with The Last Jedi, you would think he would have learned his lesson, but instead he seems to have doubled down. You know how he tweets about Star Wars? Well, that's how he deals with this situation as well. And I even like The Last Jedi, but he made so many people upset, and I don't think he handled himself very well in that situation, and I don't like how he's handling himself here, to be honest with you. Now, speaking of Star Wars, yes, Johnson really does continue to love to subvert expectations, but not just with the trailer, but the mystery in the movie itself. Don't worry, no spoilers. But I wouldn't even call this a murder mystery, to be honest with you. And I discovered that, I would say, halfway through, when the movie wants you to. And I was really disappointed in that revelation. I was like, it's not even a murder mystery? Are you kidding me? I'd say it's more of a political thriller. Well, thriller with like political, very strong, not at all hidden undertones. And Johnson's choices and twists, I'd say, are a little too clever. So much so that I not only found them disappointing, but I think they suck a lot of energy out of the film. You're like, I don't even know what this is anymore. In fact, it's when the film, which starts out very strong, by the way, so when you start watching this movie, you'll be like, oh, Grace, you're wrong. But then you'll be like, oh my God. But when it switches from an ensemble and turns more into a film about Ana de Armas' Marta, that's when it slows down considerably and loses its energy. And it's really unfair to de Armas, by the way. I've been a fan of hers since War Dogs. She was so good in that movie. I thought she really stood out in what's usually a typical girlfriend role. And then I thought she did a great job in Blade Runner 2049, a movie I had problems with, but I thought she was very good. The acting was not one of the problems with that movie. Some of you really liked Blade Runner 2049. Some of you really liked this movie, so I'll be curious to hear your thoughts about it down below. But anyway, I think Ana de Armas is very talented and very likable. But here, she plays a character with so little agency. Well, it's the type of female character we're trying to get away from, in entertainment. I don't want to give too much away, but I found it frustrating, the type of woman she was playing. Also, to make her the face of such harsh commentary, I mean, it's not doing her any favors. I would say it's strikingly similar when you think about it to how Rian Johnson hung poor Kelly Marie Tran out to dry in The Last Jedi. I mean, she's already looking better with J.J. Abrams' stewardship. I think Kelly Marie Tran, also didn't handle the situation as well as she could have. Although it was new to her, I think it was unexpected. I think it's understandable, and she already looks so much better here. I said in my commentary in The Last Jedi that Kelly Marie Tran was given very poor lines. She was given a very unfortunate, hairstyle and costume design, and she was made the face of something that was very aggressively trying to change what Star Wars was, and that was, it was unfortunate. And I feel bad because I think Ana de Armas is like in the same situation here. Now, as for the rest of the cast, they're clearly all having a great time, right? And for the little time that they're on screen. And Johnson has assembled such a strong group of personalities here who are all very talented actors that their limited scenes can't help but be enjoyable. But I will say that you've seen most of their best moments in the trailers. Frank Oz, though, he shows up briefly and is a delight. But he's got 2 scenes and like a handful of lines. But the production design, that team also deserves a shout out because they do, I think, maybe even the best work here. The costume design too. It's beautiful, stunning, and really, a film with so much dimension, I guess I would say. The Thrombey estate and the Thrombey family they're an amazingly well-realized murder mystery setting and cast of characters. I mean, at one point, Lakeith Stanfield has a great line when he says, it's like a living clue board. And it really is. It's so cool. And it's unfortunate that it never lives up to that. But it's still, even the promise of that throughout the film is enjoyable to watch. You're like, any minute now, it never happens. But it was still cool. It was still a cool place to be. So yes, this is a political thriller in murder mystery clothing only, but that clothing, again, makes the film somewhat enjoyable throughout. I still maintain, by the way, that this is a fun movie to see for the Thanksgiving holiday. Even with its problems, it's still so Thanksgiving-y and so much about like family fighting that I think it's a fun choice. But if you don't see it during the Thanksgiving holiday, or if you're in a country where they don't have Thanksgiving, I don't necessarily know if it's worth paying to see it in theaters when there are so many other great choices out there. Go see Ford versus Ferrari. The good parts, though, here are good enough that I would not skip it altogether. You should see it at some point. But I'm telling you, I'm curious how all of you felt, and mark your comments as such, as spoilery down below, how you felt when the movie switched gears so incredibly. I mean, were you as disappointed as I was? I mean, I've seen some people say they really enjoyed the film, so I'm curious, did you not see most of the trailers? I mean, did you like the political commentary so much that you were rooting for that when that change happened? I'm just very curious. And again, because I know so many of you enjoyed it, I want to be respectful of that. So that's my review of Knives Out. Share those thoughts down below. Again, mark spoilers as such. I know people are upset with Rian Johnson. Don't ruin this movie for anybody. I think that's really, really in poor form. 2 wrongs do not make a right. So again, share those thoughts down below. Subscribe today. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.